So there's been this resurgence of legacy brands coming back into the hot again category. Sean, you see brands like Checkers or Buffalo Wings and Rings, these 30-year-old brands that are now starting to find their sea legs again. Is this a sign that the economy is going in the right direction, or is it a sign that brands are getting serious about the way that they grow again?
I think it's a little bit of both, really. I think the economy is coming back, but I think that you're seeing that brand, like again, brands that when the economy slowed down, they had to adjust or die. And I think a lot of them have looked at it as, okay, let's revitalize this brand and let's take this to the next level. And I think there's a lot of appeal to an established brand that relaunches or rebrands, because you've got a lot of history and you've got a lot of best practices, and so now you take a system that's been around for a long time that knows how to be successful, and they've retooled it and repositioned it, so you get the benefits of both worlds. In franchising, you see a lot of new brands get really hot very quickly because it's a new concept or a new buzz. Problem with a lot of those brands is their systems have not been proven out, or the support is not there to help them grow long term. With an established brand that's relaunching, all those systems and tools and best practices are there, so you really get the best of both worlds. So I really like brands that have been established that are relaunching. I think it's a much safer investment in many cases, and I think you're going to see a lot more of that going on.
So in 2008, when you were working at Wireless Zone, you were responsible for the development of the brand and really took a legacy brand and doubled them in size over the next few years. When you were looking at it from a strategy standpoint of how can I take a brand that kind of stalled in its growth, what were some of the key points that you had to put in place in order to tell the right story?
Well, with Wireless Zone, they had the infrastructure, they had the systems, they had the support. It was just positioning them for today's, or back then in 2008, for that economy, and so it was just modernizing it and making it a relevant brand at that time. So it was really just looking at it from the logo, the positioning, the design of the store, making it almost like a new brand, but with the support of, and that was already there to support the franchisees.
Yeah, one brand that we've been working on recently is Smoothie King, and they will say that it's almost like they are a 2-year-old brand because they went through this rebranding stage. So it's almost factual that even though the economy went bad in 2008, that was the point where you were starting to grow again, that it's not necessarily economy based on whether a brand can grow, it's really the story that they tell.
It's about being relevant at that time. Yeah. And so a lot of brands that have been established, they get complacent, and this is how we've always done it, and this is the look, and it worked. And then you have like 2008 where the economy kind of really came to a halt, and a lot of brands had to look at themselves and say, okay, we can't continue to do the same things over and over again. We got to reinvent ourselves and position ourselves. And I think, like Smoothie King is a great example. It's a great product, great brand. They're now repositioning it, redesigning their stores. And I think you're going to see a lot from Smoothie King in the future.
Right. So you as a reader, you obviously got a little bit glimpse of how we feel about this category. Be sure to use the search feature at the top if you want to gain more insight into legacy brands that are growing, or you as a franchise prospect, you want to understand, are these legacy brands right for you? Be sure to look at our other content that might help you as you look for whatever fits you next from a business standpoint, or you as a franchisor on some tips on how you can create a resurgence with your brand.